Unit 10, Section 5, Inscribed Angles. Inscribed angle is an angle, the vertex on the circle and two sides that are chords. All right. Its intercepted arc is the arc that lies between the endpoints of the inscribed angle. Now, let's look at this. Before we talk about what the inscribed angle equals, if we have a central angle that uses the same endpoints as that inscribed angle. All right. So let's say this was 100. What would the measure of that central angle be? There you go, 100. Now, how far away is the vertex of the inscribed angle to the arc versus the vertex of the central angle to the arc? What would you say the distance from the vertex of the inscribed angle is compared to the distance, the vertex of the central angle? Double. So what do you think is going to happen to the angle measured? Angle measured doubles? Ooh. The measure of an inscribed angle is equal to 1/2 the measure of the intercepted arc. Right? So that would mean this would be 50. So that is equal to 1/2 the measure of AC. So yeah, if you double the distance, you half the arc, and you half the angle. All right. If an inscribed angle intercepts a diameter, then it is a right angle, which makes sense because the diameter is cutting off a semicircle. That arc is 180 degrees. So the inscribed angle of 180 is half of 180, which is 90. So the measure of angle BC is two inscribed angles intercept the same arc, then the angles are congruent. So measure of ABD, this angle here, is equal to the measure of angle ACD. All right. So we're going to go through this pretty quick because it's pretty simple stuff. Since we have an arc that is 62 degrees, the inscribed angle is half of that, 31 degrees. Right. If the inscribed angle is 113, double that to get the measure of the arc. This angle is 90 degrees. It's inscribing a semicircle. Now, this takes it a little further. Since we know that if we double the angle, we get 94 degrees. And since this whole arc should add up to 180, 180 minus 94 is 86 degrees. Since this inscribed angle, LKJ, right, is half of arc LMJ, well, we are going to take 360 and subtract the remaining arc, 65 and 53, to get this is 242. Half of that is 121. Same thing for angle RST and RUT. They are congruent, but they both equal 1/2 of this arc. So we are going to take 360 minus 75 minus 139 minus 64. This is 82, so half of that would be 41 and 41. As always, a little bit of algebra involved. Since we know that the inscribed angle is equal to half the arc, we could either half the arc or double the angle. It's really up to you how you want to do that. So if your arc is even, it is easier just to divide your arc by 2. So 8x minus 9 is equal to, what, 79? Add 9 over. 8x equals 88, which means x is 11. We can even, since again, both these parts are even, we can divide by 2. So we can either say that 2x plus 29 is equal to 67, or we could double the angle. 4x plus 58 is equal to 134. So it doesn't really matter. It just depends on how you want to do it. Both are fine. The only time I would double the angle measure is if my arc is a non-even number. So I don't want to deal with decimals. So here, subtract 29. 2x equals 38. So x equals 19. All right. Solve for x. Since this intercepts 180 degrees, that means 13x minus 1 equals 90. Add 1. 13x equals 91, which means x is 7. Or 10. This one can be done. Oh, boys. This is nice. Doing good. How are you? Riley Pierce. Okay. Right. Main office, Mr. Weisskopf. Main office, front office, whatever you want to call it. Mr. Weisskopf wants to see you. Yeah. All right. There's two ways we could do this. One, since this is 114 degrees, we can double that to get 228 degrees, and then find out what's left inside the circle for the remaining arc, and set half of that equal to 7x plus 6. Or, since this is 78, we could half that to get 39, and then find out what's left in that triangle. Either way is fine. So let's do the triangle one. I think that's a little bit easier. So 180 minus 114 minus 39 gives you 27. So 7x plus 6 equals 27. Subtract 6. 7x equals 21. So x equals 3. So now for 11, there really is only one way to do this. Take 360 minus 92 minus 162 to get 106. And then set 7x minus 10 equal to 53. So add 10. Add 10, we get 7x equals 63, so x is 9. So this is 67, this is 134. So 360 minus 134 minus 120 is 106. So 5x plus 21 equals 106. Subtract 21. 5x equals 85. X equals 13. If angle FGH is 6x plus 21, so 6x plus 21, and FJH is 17x minus 28, find the measure of arc FJH. Now, in this case, again, we could half the arc, but to be honest, because that's 17 there, I'm just going to double the angle. Let's multiply that by 2. 17x minus 28 is equal to 12x plus 42. Subtract 12x, 5x, add 28. You get 70. So x equals 14. So back up here, that's not 13. Sorry. It's 17. That's better. Now they want the measure of angle FJH, so we're going to take 17 times 14 minus 28. So 17 times 14 minus 28. 210. All right. STU is 5x minus 16. Arc SU is 12x minus 50. In this case, because both these are even, I can divide that by 2. The 5x minus 16 is equal to 6x minus 25. Subtract 5x. You get 1x. Add 25. You get 9. Now they want you to find angle STU. So 5 times 9, which is 45, minus 16, which is 29. Yeah. All right, angle ABD is 6x plus 26. ACD is 13x minus 9. And since they both intercept the same arc, they are congruent. So 6x plus 26 equals 13x minus 9. So subtract 6x, 7x, add the 9, 35, x equals 5. And they want the measure of arc AD. So plug that into either one of these. Let's say this one. 13 times 5, which is 65 minus 9, is 65 minus 9, 56. And since that is half the measure of the arc, measure of arc AD is 112 degrees. All right. So if measure of angle KJL, which is this angle here, is 3x plus 2, and measure of KLJ is 7x minus 32. Since they're in a right triangle, the two acute angles of a right triangle must be complementary. So 3x plus 2 plus 7x minus 32 equals 90. We know they're in a right triangle because angle JKL intercepts a semicircle, so this must be a right angle. So 10x minus 30 equals 90. 10x equals 120, so x equals 12. They want the measure of arc KL, right? So since the measure of angle KJL is 3 times 12 plus 2, which is 38, that means the measure of arc KL is twice that, 76 degrees. All right. Now we do have to go over this page because this will also be part of our homework. Inscribed quadrilaterals. All right. So let's look at this first question. If a quadro is inscribed in a circle, then its opposite angles are what? So let's look at angle A here and angle C. What arc does angle A intercept? So you know, that doesn't look like it's over 180, so we'll say it's angle BD, or arc BD. So angle A, measure of angle A, is equal to 1/2 of the measure of arc BD. All right. Now, what about angle C here? Angle C is 1/2 of what? BAD. So the measure of angle C is 1/2 of arc BAD. What's the sum of arc BD and arc BAD? If you add those two arcs together, what do you get? Again, I can only hear one person at a time, okay? All right, so not everybody at once. If I take arc BD and arc BAD, what do you get? You add the blue and the red arcs together. 360. That's the whole circle. So since those two angles add up to 360, or half of 360, what's half of 360? 180, which means those angles, opposite angles of inscribed quadrilateral, will always be supplementary. So, we know the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle C equals 180, and the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle D equals 180. So, by the measure of angle J and measure of angle K, since we have M and L, we just subtract both from 180. So J is 92 minus, or 180 minus 92, which is 88. And K is 180 minus 45, which is 135. Number 2, Q and S are supplementary, which means angle S must be 87 degrees. Right? R is equal to 1/2 of the sum of these two arcs. So those two arcs add up to 216. Half of 216 is 108. And since P and R are supplementary, P has to be 72 degrees. All right. So angle D is half of arc AC, so half of 100. Okay, so angle D is 50. Which means angle B must be 130. Because angle B and D are supplementary. Angle A is 1/2 of arc BCD. So since that adds up to 208, angle A is 104. And since A and C are supplementary, angle C must be 76. All right, solve for x. Since we know 9x minus 5 plus 68 must equal 90, 9x plus 63 equals 90. 9x equals, hey, what, 36? No, 27. So x is 3. All right. Same setup for number 5. 62 minus 5x plus 133. That adds up to 180. So negative 5x plus 195 equals 180. So negative 5x equals negative 15. X equals 3 again. So number 6, OLM. Half of that, so which that adds up to 226. Half of 226 is 113. Right? Now that means that angle L has to add up to what? 67? So 15x minus 23 must equal 67. 15x equals, if you add 23 over, you get 90. So x equals 6. Same setup for number 7. This arc here is 146, so half of that is 73. So 180 minus 73 is 107, and 12x minus 25 must equal that. Add 25, 12x equals 132, so x is 11. And the last one for the day, angle W and angle Y, which is supplementary. So 5x plus 1 plus 13x minus 37 adds up to 180. 18x minus 36 equals 180. 18x equals 216. 12. Now they want angle Y, so 13 times 12 minus 37. Should do that, calculate. 119 degrees. All right, that is it for the notes. So go ahead and get started on the homework.